Hello, hello. We are at the last day in Global Hack Week, which makes me a little sad because at some point this week does have to come to an end, but we're not quite at the end. So thanks for those of you who are joining me for our last day in Global Hack Week. We've got plenty to kick off the last day and keep you occupied with plenty of resources to carry you through to a couple different things coming up, and also to keep in mind what will be announced at closing ceremony. So welcome. I posted the check-in link in chat, but if you need it again, it's currently on the screen. Make sure you check in, get that last few opportunities for checking into a live event, and making sure that you get all the possible swag you possibly want. We'd love to make sure that you are enabled at every possible way. But let's see. As I said, last day 6 of Beginner's Week. And as for who am I, you've probably seen me throughout the week. But if you haven't and you're just tuning in, my name is Cecilia. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. I use she, her pronouns, and I love to read. And some of y'all were, noticing that in yesterday's mini event that I read a lot of different types of things from, of course, American literature to plenty else. But welcome. Alrighty, at this point, I think most people are past the ad break, so we'll go ahead and get into the content, because that's why you're here, where let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday, we got good with Git. This is a stream that was supposed to be earlier in the week, but we had to delay it just a bit, so thanks for bearing with me, because we had a great time. This was actually one of the longer ones where we spent a bit of time explaining things earlier than I normally would have, and so it is a bit of a longer stream than it should have been. No worries though, because there was lots of problem solving, especially when you're using Git, which can be quite terrifying, but we got through it, we figured it out. And I also made plugs to past instances where if you're still confused, I know there's definitely workshops out there in our stream history that you can go ahead and check out. And of course, those can be found on YouTube, by the way, in case you're not familiar. Then we had Varshini, who discussed cybersecurity with you. I will be honest, this is something I have zero knowledge about. So It looks incredible. It looks really cool. I should really check out Varshini's stream. But I know that she's been spending the week doing all sorts of beginner topics with you to really give you like an initial, like, what are the things you could possibly do? So it's been very popular. I saw some people in chat and Discord, tagging her, mentioning her, and all sorts of things. So props to Varshini for all the beginner work that she did this week. Then you worked on a voice-powered expense tracker, and that was with Vincent. This is looking real pretty. I should check this out for my finances. But looking good so far, looks awesome. Then you worked on challenges, and you added a feature-rich text editor to your Hack with CK editor, one of our partners for this week at Beginners Week. Unfortunately, haven't had a chance to check this one out too, but I do know that folks have been super excited about CK Editor. Lots of good questions, lots of good interest. I think this is their second or third time with us as a Global Hack Week partner, so we love to see them coming back. Let them know in their channels, it asks, or continue attending their streams if they come up in future Global Hack Weeks. They are there to basically teach you everything you need to know to use their libraries and their apps and everything, so definitely check them out. Then you completed GitHub quests. Looks like we have Ash, who got a certificate of completion for their GitHub Copilot prompt quest on Wilco. Congratulations. And we also claimed MongoDB skills badges. So this was issued to Harish. Congratulations. And I do believe this might be in the next slide. Oh, no. But if you do complete a skill badge, you do get some extra swag. So if you haven't had a chance to finish up the MongoDB skill badge, go ahead and take some time to do it today. Things are due very soon to make sure that you can get that extra piece of swag in your event pack. Then you worked on your own rock, paper, scissors game. Oh, this is just straight up code. Okay. Nice. Oh, this is in C. C++. Wow, we've got some dangerous folks who are willing to go with the old school and really dig deep. Awesome. Honestly, you'll be one of the best people at pointers, and I'm kind of jealous. But there's not quite a bit that happened yesterday. We wanted to make sure you all had some time to do some challenges. So just as a reminder, make sure you get those challenges in. They're due tomorrow, around closing ceremony. So make sure you get as much as you can done for yourself or for whatever it is that you're looking to get as far as swag drops. But what's happening today, as always, you can always check out the schedule on our Global Hack Week website. But for a quick preview, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. We have Wei, who's kicking off the day with taking a break, and I love that, where you're doing the Tetris mini event, and I hear he's pretty good. And there's also quite a few other folks in Discord who are also very good. So maybe y'all will duke it out because most of you are awake. But that will be at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 p.m. IST. Make sure that you take that break, have some fun, check in for yet another live event in case you're needing to catch up, get those extra custom stickers for Global Hack Week Beginners 2025. Then join UT for Music on the Web Part 5. He'll be going on at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 a.m. IST. I know he's been working on this all week, and now he is wrapping it up. There are 2 back-to-back streams where he's doing Part 5, then Part 6 at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 a.m. IST to basically wrap things up. So if you've missed any of those streams, go ahead and go back to the YouTube channel and go to Find Major League Hacking and go ahead and catch up there. If not, join along for the ride. I know he's probably got a GitHub that he's sharing that maybe you can jump in and code along with him in the last few parts. But anytime UT is streaming, it's going to be long, but it's going to be so good. So definitely check that out. Alberto will be wrapping up creating your first web page Part 4 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. IST. And as always, if things are too late for you, go to sleep, please. If you happen to stay up, props to you, but we want you to prioritize your health and have a great day and be supercharged for whatever you have going on the following day. You can always watch these streams back on YouTube. They're always posted. If they're not posted, it might take a couple days, but the point is they will be there and you will be able to watch them for as many times at whatever speed with whatever captions that you may need. So definitely don't feel too pressured, though we do love to see you in chat. Then he'll follow right up at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. IST with talking about command line. So you might have seen throughout the week, folks were using command line. I know I was on the Git workshop because I think having access to command line is important. It's not as scary as it seems like. And what a great way to finish up Beginner's Week by teaching you how to do command line things. Really bring all those skills you brought together from the rest of the week into this moment where you can be that much better of a developer, being able to manipulate things on your laptop, your desktop, whatever it is you're using. So definitely check that out. And then, sadly, but not so sadly because we always have great announcements and we have some last minute surprises, we have closing ceremony at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. IST, so in about 24-ish hours, give or take a couple minutes. We'll be, of course, wrapping up, telling you all the stuff that happened this past week, highlighting all the amazing projects folks have done if you've submitted it to our demo link, which if you haven't, go ahead and post in Discord asking for it, so that way we can get a chance to show off all the things you've been doing this week, get that feedback from the community, and highlight it tomorrow. But then also wrapping up any other information that you might need for like making sure you've got your event pack sorted, so that way when it does get shipped out, you have everything you need or that you earned. And also we'll be announcing what's coming next. And I promise you, I've seen the slides because I will be back tomorrow to help host it. That there are lots of exciting things coming, and we are so looking forward to announcing it. Now, as a reminder, like I said, challenges are due tomorrow. So go ahead and go to ghw.mlh.io/challenges. Make sure you completed your feature partners, those are the ones with stars at the top of the dashboard, to make sure that you have earned at least the basic event pack, which means you get MLH stickers, a postcard, and if you've completed the MongoDB skill badge, you also get an extra piece of MongoDB swag. Now, if you've checked into 5 or more live events this week, that means that when we've posted our check-in links on Discord and in stream or in the voice chats, if you're on the mini events, that you've had a chance to register and check into the event before it ends. And with doing that, it makes sure that as long as you have at least 5, you are eligible for some extra, very unique sticker packs that come from Global Hack Week, Beginner's Week. And that will all be put into one envelope. It does take some time for some folks to get this in the mail, unfortunately, just because there are so many of you. It does take some time, but it will find its way eventually with good time. But if you ever have questions, you can always reach out to us on Discord or via email. We'll do our best to get back to you as quickly as you can. So incentive to finish some challenges if you want some swag. Otherwise, do it for yourself. What are things that you're like, oh man, this is really hard to start, but this might jumpstart me into what I need to? Whatever motivation it is you need, however these challenges see fit to help you, do what makes sense for you. And a reminder, of course, with MongoDB swag, complete at least one skill badge challenge for MongoDB to get their swag in your mail. And it looks like you'll be getting a very pretty MongoDB sticker. I don't have this. I'm going to have to go bother some full-time staff to see if I'm eligible. I don't think I am. So someone will just have to show me how cool it is at some point someday. Very jealous of those of you who earn it. It looks very pretty, but it's fine. I can get other stickers. And as always, we are always looking for feedback. So as you attend the workshops today, of course, being reasonable to your sleep schedule, your time, everything else, we'd love to get your feedback on where we can improve, what you'd like to see, what you really enjoyed, any types of feedback that you can give us. Go to mlh.link/GHW feedback. It shouldn't take you more than a couple minutes to just say, yeah, this was great, or I wish we could have done this, or we ran out of time. What can we do about that? Anything at all, positive, negative, neutral. We love to see it, hear it, read it, again, because this helps us just be that much better to give back to you, the community. Now, I know that we are at the end of the week. We tend to not have too many questions, but if there are any, please go right ahead, drop those in the chat. I am more than happy to answer a couple of them. I'll probably give it a couple minutes to give folks some time to type, figure out what they are looking to ask questions about. But if you don't get a chance to ask questions right here, right now, you can always go ahead and go to Discord and either open a support ticket if you want to get in contact with us for something, or it's a community question that somebody else can answer. Go ahead and post it in any of our Global Hack Week forums. We really do have a lovely community where lots of people already have answers for you. But again, if it's something that's very higher up specific or administrative or otherwise, we'd love to see it, and we'll do our best to answer. But yeah, looking to see if there's any questions. I'll probably otherwise cut it off in about 2 minutes. Type fast. If you were in the type racer, you might be recovering, in which case, let me know and I'll give an extra minute. I do know there's a stream delay, so I'm also giving some extra time for that delay as y'all process. We did scroll through that. I know there is a lot of content, but there is also a lot of time to work on challenges. Might also just have me in the background, which, like, honestly, fair. I would do that too. What is the requirement in order to stand out when applying to the fellowship? So I'm actually not in charge of the fellowships, and I have not been part of this process, but you are welcome to post in the Discord asking your fellow community members. I do believe we have a fellowship question channel if you'd like to check that out. And if you are still feeling like there aren't any clear requirements and you haven't found them on like the MLH fellowships page, then again, like posting in the community might help you out for folks who have done it and are willing to volunteer some time. Or, can you consider opening a support ticket or emailing the fellowship's email to get a bit more detail where something might be lacking. So unfortunately, I can't answer that. Sorry. I don't have the background knowledge for that because that's not something I work in. But let me double check which channel it is. That way you can go ahead and pop in Discord and ask. So I do know that there is the Fellowship News announcements channel, which would have all the links you might need for what fellowships are open and any of the FAQs. And if your question is still not answered in the FAQ, they do have, you can create a thread and ask MLH, or you can email fellowship@mlh.io to get some more insights. So yeah. No new questions have popped up. I feel like every time I ask, somebody finally is like, oh, I have a question. And then we keep doing this for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, no, you can ask them all at the same time. I will answer them one at a time. You can always just, put the stream back to go listen to the answer again if it's like, oh, I have that question too. There's always the recording. There's always watching it later. Oh, sorry, y'all. Been a bit of a long week. Lots of things to announce. What is Data and Open Source Week? I can absolutely talk about that. So Data Week, all Global Hack Weeks are themed, where this current theme for this month of August is Beginners Week. So anything that you would like to be a beginner at, whether it's learning a new language, learning a new process, learning anything new really, and you are a beginner and welcome. And so some people are experts in other things, but you're never not an expert, but also never not a beginner. Let me rephrase that. You can always be a beginner even when you're an expert in other things. So with that, there are other themes throughout the year, and the upcoming themes are Data Week, which is where we're learning. A lot of us coaches tend to think about data in terms of how do you generate data? How do you work with data ethically is where I tend to spend my time. Or how do you work with databases in setting them up, making really nice schemas or ways to track where data should go and how it makes sense for programmatic usage. Other people will do things like what are different types of databases and how do you use each? Or how do you use data to transform projects into something that is more functional, more informed, and other different ways. So basically take how would you use data in a project and apply that to the entire week, where all of our coaches will come through and come up with different ideas and different projects that are centered around the idea of you have data, or you need to create data, or you don't have data, so what do you do about it? And answering those questions through creative projects or through informational streams. Like I often do a lot of intro to writing data to a database, because first you need to define a schema, like number one, and then next you need to put your data into the schema, make sure it works, and then how do you actually pull the data out and use it in a transformative way. So that's kind of like Data Week is where I tend to focus some time about mentally. But everyone has different focuses for Data Week. You can also check out past Global Hack Week streams. Data is one of our recurring themes every year. So you can get a feel for what kind of workshops you'll see as well by looking through past Global Hack Week. So we do try to keep it fresh with new projects and whatnot. And then Open Source Week is more about, hey, maybe you don't know what open source is, or maybe you do, but you're too scared to take the first step. Or maybe it's not that you don't want to contribute to an open source project, it's that you want to make an open source project. Like you have a tool that you've been designing and you want other people to use it, whatever. Open Source Week is more of a giving you all of the things you might need to pick your own journey if you would like to explore open source. And so again, some people might go into contributing through documentation is a very common start. Other folks might be like, well, I have this tool that I'm already using and I want to make it open source. What licensing do I need? And so there's all sorts of little questions that are being answered throughout that open source week. And so we do try and make sure that you leave the week as prepared as you can be with a couple different topics to think about, whether you want to contribute or start and contribute, or even just learn a bit about it to see if it's something that you're interested in. So it's really more of an exposure week to like, what is open source and what can you do with it and how do you do it and how do you all collectively, because again, it can be very intimidating to contribute to an open source project, to make pull requests. You might not even know what a pull request is, and you might be like, well, how do I like do a good one? Or like, I did this pull request and like they rejected it and I don't know why. And so all sorts of those like little pitfalls that people may not be aware of, that's what that week is going to typically cover. There might be a few folks who are talking more about broader topics like open source and research or other things. It really depends on like where a coach's availability is, what the topics they're interested in, what they're willing to cover. But yeah. So all that to say is, if you are ever confused about what they're about, always consider checking out the YouTube channel with past streams because we have playlists for each of our past Global Hack Weeks. You might consider checking out the past years of Global Hack Week, getting a feel for them, and if it's something you're interested in, we do always love to see you, but we do recognize not every theme is for everybody. But it is a good chance to learn about different things and where they'll have a place in your computer science or software or broadly engineering journey. And if you're not any of those, the broader journey in general. Yes, I believe there is a cloud week. It is usually at the beginning of the calendar year, so like in the I want to say it's like the February March time frame is when cloud happens, so you'll have to wait a few months. But again, if you are looking to learn about cloud computing ahead of Cloud Week, definitely go ahead and check out the YouTube channel, because that will be a chance for you to like explore and see like, oh, did I like this, did I enjoy this, what would I want to see, that way you're a little better prepared for when Cloud Week does happen, because it does yes, we do have Cloud Week, it's just in a few more months. I don't actually know if it's coming in this specific calendar year in the remaining months that we have, because if it's not, it's definitely in like the beginner months of the calendar year. But if you're looking for a specific topic and you're like, I need it now, but like Global Hack Week, the next one is, in a couple of weeks, what do I do? Like maybe it's for a class, maybe it's for a homework assignment, maybe it's for a personal project, whatever, again, go back to the YouTube channel. All of our videos are posted there. There's a chance past us can help current you. And by the time that you learn more, gain more, etc., that when it does happen, we encourage you to join us in chat and share what you know, because chances are one of us may be out of date. I'm the most likely candidate of being out of date when I do workshops. But there's a chance that you can be like, oh yeah, you taught me about this like 3 months ago when I watched your recording. Has it changed at all? Because cloud is always changing. So yeah. Highly recommend, anytime you're curious about a topic, go back, look through YouTube, see if you like them, watch them, and partake, because those GitHubs are usually still up, and then be ready for the next Global Hack Week. To see the past Global Hack Week schedule, you would have to go to YouTube and go look at the playlists. The playlists are in order of when they were streamed, but we don't have. If there is one, I have not seen it as far as the scheduled in ghw.mlh.io/schedule. There is no past archive that I'm aware of, unfortunately. So again, go to YouTube, go scroll through the streams. The playlists will be the one that will be most helpful, because you'll see Global Hack Week Cloud, month and then the year, or Global Hack Week topic, month, year, and you can kind of see what folks are streaming about. You can always go ahead and watch the first 5 to 10 minutes of the stream, particularly part ones of workshops. So that way, if you're is this something I'm interested in? The title was interesting, but what's the summary of what we're going to do? And most of us we do our best to have a to-do list, or here's what we're going to do today, or even a brief explanation of what is our goal by the end of the series of workshops. Those are good questions. Nice. Okay, but it is getting close to after the 20-minute mark. Actually, it is past the 20-minute mark, and I want to give folks time to work on the challenges, maximize their event packs that they'll be getting in a couple months or in a couple weeks, depending on where you're at, and also give time, because Wei has his Tetris mini event soon, and I want to make sure that you all have time to go get water, coffee, whatever it is you'd like, food, take a nap, whatever. in between all of the stuff that you've got going on. Thanks so much for joining us all. We love to see folks, whether in chat or completing challenges or submitting like all their progress. We'd love to see you all grow, because it's really rewarding, again, just to see things. All right. With that, then, I think I'm going to go ahead and close up shop. I will see you all tomorrow for closing ceremony if you happen to join me. Remember to get those challenges in, and remember to take care of yourself. Have a good rest of your day, afternoon, like day, night, whichever one you're feeling right now or dealing with, or depending on your hours. And yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. See ya.